Welcome to Sleepy Theory. I'm so glad you're here with us tonight. Before we begin our 90-minute journey into the silent echoes of the lost empire, take a moment to ensure your surroundings are peaceful. If you find comfort in these deep sleep documentaries, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support allows us to continue building this sanctuary of rest for seekers all around the world. Now let go of the day. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let us drift back 10,000 years to the golden dawn of Atlantis. Imagine, if you will, a horizon where the sky is as soft, bruised purple, and the ocean is as smooth as polished glass. In the writings of the ancient philosopher Plato, there's a description of a city so perfect, so harmonious, that it felt like a dream even to those who lived within it. This is our destination. As we hover above the calm Atlantic waters, a magnificent structure begins to emerge from the morning mist. It is not a single island, but a masterpiece of geometry, a series of vast, concentric rings. 3 rings of water and 2 rings of land, perfectly nested within one another, protecting the sacred heart of the empire. From this height, the city looks like a giant ripple frozen in time. The outermost ring of water is immense, a grand canal that serves as the gateway to the world. The water here is a deep, royal blue, teeming with the quiet energy of the ocean. Visualize the great ships of Atlantis gliding through this outer ring. They move without the harsh sounds of oars or the snapping of sails. They seem to be carried by the water itself, silent and purposeful. The banks of this canal are lined with massive stone walls, built from black, red, and white rocks quarried from the depths of the earth. The stone has been polished until it glows, reflecting the soft light of the rising sun back onto the water surface. As we drift inward, crossing the first ring of land, the atmosphere begins to change. The air becomes cooler, scented with the fragrance of exotic gardens and the faint, sweet smell of the sea. This ring of land is home to the city's outer districts, where the architecture is both grand and simple. Low-slung villas with flat roofs are nestled among groves of silver-leaved trees. Everything is designed for balance. The streets are wide and paved with a pale, shimmering sand that cushions every footstep. There is no haste here. The people you see in your mind's eye move with a slow, rhythmic grace, their shadows stretching long and thin across the white stone paths. Now we reach the second ring of water. This canal is narrower, and the water here is as clear as a mountain spring. You can see all the way to the bottom, where white sand and colorful pebbles create a mosaic beneath the waves. Along the shores of this ring, there are public gardens filled with plants that seem to glow with their own internal light. Willows with long, trailing branches dip into the water, creating tiny, hypnotic ripples that spread out and vanish. The sound of the water against the stone is a gentle, repetitive melody, a natural lullaby that settles deep into your spirit. As we cross the second ring of land, we approach the inner sanctum of the city. The symmetry of the rings creates a feeling of absolute security. Each layer acts as a barrier against the chaos of the outside world, pulling us closer to a state of pure tranquility. The walls of the inner city are plated with orichalcum, a legendary metal that flashes with a reddish light. As the sun hits these walls, the entire city seems to be bathed in a warm, amber fire. It is a light that does not glare, but instead wraps around you like a soft, heavy blanket. You feel the warmth on your skin, the steady pulse of the city's heart beating in time with your own. In Atlantis, the concept of time was different than our own. They did not measure life in minutes or hours, but in the cycles of the moon and the movement of the tides. As you stand between the rings of water and land, you realize that there is no past to regret and no future to fear. There is only this perfect, circular moment. The weight of your body feels supported by the ancient earth beneath you. Your mind is as still as the water in the inner lagoons. Look toward the central island, where the great palaces and temples reside. The bridges that connect these rings are works of art, arched elegantly over the sapphire canals. Everything is in its right place. The blue of the water, the gold of the sun, and the deep, silent green of the gardens. As the morning mist finally clears, the full majesty of the concentric city is revealed, a beacon of peace in a forgotten age. You are now deep within the dream of Atlantis. The rhythm of the rings has slowed your heart. The symmetry of the city has organized your thoughts into a state of rest. As we prepare to move closer to the central island, let the silence of the outer rings remain with you. You are floating. You are heavy. You are home. We leave the concentric rings of the outer city behind, crossing the final, great bridge of white marble. Now, we find ourselves on the central island, the sacred core of the empire, where the air feels heavier with ancient wisdom and the light seems to vibrate with a soft, silver energy. Standing directly before us is the crown jewel of Atlantis, the great Temple of Poseidon. This is not a structure built for mere mortals. It is a monument to the eternal power of the sea. The entire exterior of the temple is covered in sheets of pure silver, shimmering like the skin of a deep-sea creature. The very tips of the towers, reaching high into the morning sky, are plated with gold, reflecting the sun in a way that makes the temple look like a beacon of fire in a world of water. Visualize yourself standing at the foot of the massive ivory doors. They are immense, 3 times the height of a man, and intricately carved with the entire history of the tides and the constellations. As you reach out to touch them, you find the surface is cool and smooth, polished by the hands of countless generations. The doors swing open silently, as if they were waiting for you, and a wave of profound stillness washes over you. The air inside is different. It is cool, fragrant, and heavy with the scent of burning amber and crushed sea lavender. Every sound from the outside world vanishes, replaced by a deep, resonant silence that feels like being wrapped in a blanket of soft velvet. Inside, the scale of the temple is breathtaking, yet does not feel cold or empty. The ceiling is a vast canopy of rare cedar wood, inlaid with ivory and precious sapphires that sparkle like a hidden galaxy in the dim light. The floor beneath your feet is a masterwork of mosaic, patterns of white marble and dark, obsidian stones that have been polished until they resemble the surface of a still, dark lake. Your footsteps make no noise as you walk. The thick stone walls act as a sanctuary, holding the rhythmic, distant hum of the ocean at bay, turning the roar of the sea into a gentle, vibrating lullaby. In the very center of this vast hall stands the legendary statue of the god himself. Poseidon, forged from solid gold, standing tall in a massive chariot. The chariot is pulled by 6 winged horses, their manes flowing like liquid silver, their eyes made of glowing emeralds. Around the chariot, 100 nereids ride upon dolphins made of orichalcum, their forms frozen in a dance of eternal grace. The light from the high, narrow windows falls upon the golden statue in long, dusty shafts, creating a soft, amber haze that fills the entire room. As you gaze up at the golden face of the god, you feel a sense of absolute protection. In this sacred space, time has no meaning. The past and the future dissolve into one single, eternal moment of perfect peace. Walking deeper into the shadows of the temple, you find smaller alcoves where the light is even softer. Here, the walls are lined with tablets of pure orichalcum, the legendary metal that only existed in Atlantis. On these tablets, the laws and the wisdom of the first kings are inscribed in a language of flowing lines and sacred geometry. The metal has a strange, warm quality. As you pass near it, you feel a gentle heat radiating outward, warming your skin like a faint memory of the sun. Everything here was built for longevity, designed to house a piece that was meant to last for 10,000 years. You find a small, stone bench carved from a single piece of dark blue sapphire. Sit here for a moment and let your back rest against the cool stone. Watch the dust motes dancing in the shafts of light. They move with a slow, hypnotic rhythm, rising and falling in the quiet air, mirroring the slow, deep rise and fall of your own breathing. The atmosphere is so thick with tranquility that your thoughts begin to drift away like small boats on a calm morning tide. There is no need to carry the weight of the world inside these walls. There is only the gold, the silver, and the deep, resonant silence of the temple. Feel the heaviness in your shoulders melting away, absorbed by the ancient marble around you. As the sun begins its slow descent outside, the colors inside the temple shift and transform. The silver walls lose their brightness and turn a deep, twilight blue. The golden statue of Poseidon begins to glow with a deep, orange warmth, as if it is holding onto the final light of the day. The fragrance of amber grows stronger, wrapping around you like a protective cloak, shielding you from any worry or haste. Your limbs are heavy now, relaxed and perfectly at ease. You are safe here, in the very heart of the empire. The echoing silence of this sacred space is now your silence. The pulse of the great ocean, beating against the shores of the island, is now the pulse of your own rest. Every pillar, every stone, and every golden thread in this temple is a testament to a world that knew how to be still. As we prepare to leave the temple and enter the crystal gardens of the inner city, take this stillness with you deep into your spirit. You are drifting. You are floating. You are becoming one with the silver and gold of Atlantis. As we leave the silver silence of the temple, the day begins to soften into a long, amber twilight. We walk toward the Garden of Echoes, a place where the air itself seems to shimmer with a faint, violet light. In the center of this garden, and in various sacred points across the city, stand the great crystals of Atlantis. These are not mere stones, but living conduits of the Earth's energy, vast, translucent pillars that pulse with a slow, rhythmic light. Visualize these crystals now, rising from the earth like frozen shafts of moonlight, reaching toward the darkening sky. As you approach the largest of these pillars, you notice that the air feels different here. There is a subtle vibration in the ground, a low-frequency hum that resonates deep within your chest. It is the sound of the earth breathing. The crystal is a soft, iridescent blue, glowing from within as if it has captured a piece of the morning sky and held it captive in its heart. The light it emits does not flicker, it breathes. It expands and contracts in a cycle that is perfectly synchronized with your own resting heart rate. The Atlanteans understood that everything in the universe is made of light and vibration. They did not use fire or machines to power their city. They harvested the silent, invisible currents of the stars and the deep, magnetic pulse of the ocean. As you stand before the crystal, let its soft light wash over you. Feel it touching your skin, cooling the lingering warmth of the day. It feels like a gentle, weightless mist, cleansing your mind of every thought, every worry, and every tether to the modern world. Around the base of the crystal, the plants have grown in response to this divine energy. The leaves of the trees are wide and soft, glowing with a faint bioluminescence. Small, white flowers open only at this hour, releasing a fragrance that is both earthy and celestial, the scent of rain on ancient stones mixed with the sweetness of night-blooming jasmine. As you breathe in this air, you feel a sense of profound clarity. Your body feels lighter, as if the gravity of the earth has loosened its grip, allowing you to float in a state of perfect suspension. In the ancient records of the city, this energy was known as the Twai Stone, the firestone that brought balance to all living things. It does not burn, it heals. Imagine this healing energy entering through the soles of your feet, traveling slowly up your legs, through your spine, and into the very center of your being. It is a liquid peace, filling every cell with the stillness of the deep ocean. Every muscle in your neck and shoulders begins to soften. Every tension in your brow vanishes, smoothed away by the rhythmic pulsing of the blue crystal. The sky above Atlantis is now a deep, velvety indigo. The first stars are beginning to appear, and as they do, the crystals across the city begin to resonate in harmony with them. The low hum grows slightly deeper, a cosmic chorus that sings of the unity of all things. You're no longer an observer. You are a part of this vibration. You are a note in the song of the stars. You are a ripple in the silver waters of the inner rings. Look around the garden one last time. The pathways are glowing softly, lit by the stones themselves. The shadows are not dark, but a deep, comforting purple. The sound of a distant waterfall flowing into a crystal basin provides a rhythmic backdrop to the silence. Everything is in a state of preparation. The city is preparing for the night. The empire is preparing to sleep. And you, too, are ready to descend into the deeper levels of rest. The golden heights of the morning are now a memory. The silver temple is now a shadow of peace. The energy of the crystals has anchored you to this moment of absolute safety. There is no effort required. There is no journey left to take tonight, but the journey inward. Feel the heaviness of your eyelids, mirroring the heavy, peaceful stones of Atlantis. Feel the silence of the lost world becoming your own silence. As we conclude this first chapter of our journey, hold on to this blue light. Let it guide you into the next stage of our descent, where we will explore the celestial wisdom and the secrets of the stars. But for now, simply be in the light. Be in the hum. Be in the deep, ancient dream of the Golden Heights. We have ascended from the silver temples and the glowing crystal gardens. Now, our journey takes us upward toward the infinite velvet of the Atlantean night sky. In this era, thousands of years ago, the atmosphere was as clear as a mountain spring, and the stars did not just twinkle. They blazed with a steady, diamond-like light. Visualize yourself standing on the highest balcony of the Royal Observatory, a tall, slender tower built from pale moonstone. The air here is thin, cool, and perfectly still. There is no light pollution from modern cities, no hum of machines. There is only you, the silence, and the vast, glittering dome of the universe. The Atlanteans were not just observers of the stars, they were their students. To them, the sky was a great map, a living, breathing blueprint of time and destiny. Look up at the constellations. Some are familiar to us, like Orion and the Pleiades, but in this ancient time, they seem closer, more intimate. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a river of silver milk, casting a soft, ethereal glow over the dark ocean below. In the observatory, the master astronomers move with quiet precision. They use instruments made of polished bronze and crystal lens to track the slow, majestic dance of the planets. Listen to the faint, metallic click of the celestial gears as they align with the movements of the heavens. Navigating the stars was the lifeblood of the Empire. The great ships we saw earlier, sailing through the concentric rings, were guided by the wisdom of the sky. A navigator did not just look at a star, they felt its resonance. They believed that every celestial body emitted a silent frequency, a cosmic note that could be heard by those with a quiet mind. As you stand on this balcony, imagine that you can hear this music of the spheres. It is a low, humming vibration, a harmony that links the deepest parts of the ocean to the furthest reaches of space. It is a song of order, a song of eternity, and it is drawing you deeper into a state of profound relaxation. The observatory towers were strategically placed around the city to align with the solstices and the equinoxes. When the great sun rose on the longest day of the year, its first light would pass through a series of crystal windows, striking the central altar of the city with a beam of pure gold. But it was the night that held the most secrets. The astronomers tracked the Great Year, a cycle of 26,000 years, knowing that the world moved in long, rhythmic breaths. Feel that rhythm now in your own breath. Slow, steady, and vast. The same pulse that moves the stars is the pulse that moves within you. There is no separation between the cosmos and the soul. Imagine the maps they drew. They were not made on paper, but on sheets of hammered silver. The stars were represented by tiny, embedded diamonds that caught the candlelight. As you trace the lines of these ancient maps in your mind, you see how the city of Atlantis itself was built to mirror the sky. The 3 rings of water corresponded to the orbits of the inner planets. The central temple was a reflection of the North Star, the unmoving center around which everything else revolves. This symmetry creates a feeling of absolute stability. You are anchored to the earth, yet connected to the infinite. Now, look toward the horizon where the moon is beginning to rise. It is larger than the moon we know today, a pale, glowing orb that pulls at the tides of the world and the tides of the heart. Its light reflects off the silver-plated walls of the city below, turning the entire empire into a ghost-like vision of beauty. The water in the canal shimmers with 1,000 points of silver light. The astronomers watch the moon's progress with silent reverence, for they know that she is the keeper of dreams and the mistress of the deep sleep. Let the moonlight wash over your eyes, cooling your vision, calming your mind. As the night deepens, the observatory towers become silent. The astronomers have finished their calculations. The scrolls are rolled up. The crystal lenses are covered. There is only the soft wind blowing through the moonstone pillars, carrying the scent of the cold, high atmosphere. You feel the vastness of space around you, but it does not feel empty. It feels like a warm, dark embrace. It is the darkness of the womb, the darkness of deep sleep, the darkness where all things are born and to which all things return for rest. You're drifting through the constellations now, floating past the silent planets, past the glowing nebulas, and through the rivers of stardust. The weight of your physical body is gone. You are a spark of light in the infinite dark. The wisdom of the heavens is not something you need to learn. It is something you remember in the silence. As we prepare to descend into the great library of Atlantis to uncover the scrolls of the ancestors, take this cosmic peace with you. The stars are watching over you. The universe is breathing with you. Sleep now, in the arms of the galaxy, We descend from the heights of the Moonstone Observatory, our feet finding their way down a spiraling staircase carved into the very bedrock of the island. As we go deeper, the cool night air is replaced by something warmer, something ancient. We are entering the great library of Atlantis, the silent repository of 10,000 years of human thought. Visualize the massive bronze doors as they pivot without a sound on their hinges. Inside, the library is a cathedral of knowledge, a labyrinth of endless shelves carved from dark, aromatic cedar wood. The scent here is intoxicating, a blend of old parchment, dried lavender, and the faint, metallic tang of the orichalcum scrolls. It is a smell that speaks of time held still, a fragrance that invites the mind to let go and wander. The library is not lit by torches or candles, but by small, floating orbs of crystal that cast a soft, amber glow across the aisles. In this light, the thousands of scrolls look like rows of sleeping spirits, waiting patiently to share their secrets. As you walk down the central corridor, your footsteps are cushioned by thick, hand-woven carpets dyed in the colors of the deep sea, indigo, teal, and midnight blue. The silence here is profound. It is not the empty silence of a void, but a heavy, meaningful silence, as if the walls themselves are listening to the history they contain. Feel the weight of this peace. It is a sanctuary for the weary, a place where the noise of the world simply cannot reach. Imagine yourself reaching out and selecting a scroll from a shelf made of polished obsidian. The tube is made of a rare, pale wood, smooth to the touch and surprisingly light. As you unroll the delicate fibers, you see the script of the Atlanteans, a flowing, golden ink that seems to shimmer as the amber light hits it. These are the records of the stars, the journals of the first kings, and the poems of a people who lived in perfect harmony with the earth. You don't need to read the words to understand them. The energy of the wisdom contained in the script begins to resonate with your own mind, slowing your thoughts, calming your internal dialogue. The knowledge of the ancients is a healing balm, reminding you that everything you seek is already within the silence of your own soul. Deep within the library, there are circular reading rooms with domed ceilings. In the center of each room, a small fountain flows with water that is infused with rare minerals. The sound of the water, a gentle, rhythmic drip, 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 acts as a metronome for your relaxation. Sit in one of the oversized chairs lined with soft, white wool. Let yourself sink into the cushions. Feel how the chair supports your back, your neck, and your heavy limbs. Around you, the walls are filled with the maps of forgotten continents and the genealogies of heroes who have long since returned to the dust. In this room, the past is not dead. It is simply resting, just as you are resting now. We descend from the heights of the Moonstone Observatory, our feet finding their way down a spiraling staircase carved into the very bedrock of the island. As we go deeper, the cool night air is replaced by something warmer, something ancient. We are entering the great library of Atlantis, the silent repository of 10,000 years of human thought. Visualize the massive bronze doors as they pivot without a sound on their hinges. Inside, the library is a cathedral of knowledge, a labyrinth of endless shelves carved from dark, aromatic cedar wood. The scent here is intoxicating, a blend of old parchment, dried lavender, and the faint, metallic tang of the orichalcum scrolls. It is a smell that speaks of time held still, a fragrance that invites the mind to let go and wander. The library is not lit by torches or candles, but by small, floating orbs of crystal that cast a soft, amber glow across the aisles. In this light, the thousands of scrolls look like rows of sleeping spirits, waiting patiently to share their secrets. As you walk down the central corridor, your footsteps are cushioned by thick, hand-woven carpets dyed in the colors of the deep sea, indigo, teal, and midnight blue. The silence here is profound. It is not the empty silence of a void, but a heavy, meaningful silence, as if the walls themselves are listening to the history they contain. Feel the weight of this peace. It is a sanctuary for the weary, a place where the noise of the world simply cannot reach. Imagine yourself reaching out and selecting a scroll from a shelf made of polished obsidian. The tube is made of a rare, pale wood, smooth to the touch and surprisingly light. As you unroll the delicate fibers, you see the script of the Atlanteans, a flowing, golden ink that seems to shimmer as the amber light hits it. These are the records of the stars, the journals of the first kings, and the poems of a people who lived in perfect harmony with the earth. You don't need to read the words to understand them. The energy of the wisdom contained in the script begins to resonate with your own mind, slowing your thoughts, calming your internal dialogue. The knowledge of the ancients is a healing balm, reminding you that everything you seek is already within the silence of your own soul. Deep within the library, there are circular reading rooms with domed ceilings. In the center of each room, a small fountain flows with water that is infused with rare minerals. The sound of the water, a gentle, rhythmic drip, 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 acts as a metronome for your relaxation. Sit in one of the oversized chairs lined with soft, white wool. Let yourself sink into the cushions. Feel how the chair supports your back, your neck, and your heavy limbs. Around you, the walls are filled with the maps of forgotten continents and the genealogies of heroes who have long since returned to the dust. In this room, the past is not dead. It is simply resting, just as you are resting now. The Atlanteans believed that knowledge was not meant to be conquered, but to be absorbed. They believed that by surrounding themselves with the wisdom of the ages, they could find a path to eternal peace. As you sit in the library, imagine that the wisdom is flowing from the shelves like a gentle, golden mist. It enters your mind and begins to dissolve any lingering tension. The stress of your day, the worries about tomorrow, they are all just echoes in this vast hall of history. They have no power here. They are like shadows disappearing into the deep, dark corners of the cedar shelves. You are safe, surrounded by the thoughts of the wise, protected by the silence of the ages. Now look at the great central pillar of the library. It is a single, massive trunk of a tree that was petrified over millions of years, turning into solid, translucent quartz. Within this pillar are the most sacred texts of the empire, the laws of nature and the secrets of the spirit. The pillar glows with a very faint, white light that pulses slowly, once every 10 seconds. Synchronize your breathing with this white light. Inhale as the light brightens. Exhale as the light fades. In and out. The library is breathing with you. The millions of words on the millions of scrolls are all whispering a single message. You are at peace. As the hours of the night pass, the amber orbs begin to dim, signaling that it is time for the library to return to total stillness. The shadows stretch across the blue carpets, and the scent of cedar grows more intense. You feel your eyelids growing heavy as the stone walls of this archive. The thoughts in your head are becoming soft and blurred, like the ink on an ancient parchment that has seen too many centuries. It is a beautiful blurring, a gentle drifting away. You are leaving the world of facts and entering the world of dreams. The Great Library of Atlantis is now closing its doors for the night. But the peace you found among its shelves will remain with you. The wisdom of the ancestors is now part of your own inner silence. As we prepare to leave this archive and explore the deep harmonics of the earth, remember that you carry this library within you. The scrolls are tucked away in your subconscious. The golden script is written on your heart. You are drifting. You are sleeping among the giants of wisdom. Rest now in the heart of the archive. As we leave the great library, the deep indigo of the night has fully embraced the island of Atlantis. The air is no longer just a medium for breath. It has become a medium for song, a silent, ancient melody that pulses through the very stones beneath our feet. The Atlanteans believed that the earth was not a dead rock, but a living, breathing entity with a heartbeat of its own. They called this the Great Harmonic, a fundamental frequency that connects the core of the planet to the furthest reaches of the stars. Visualize yourself walking barefoot toward a wide, obsidian plateau that overlooks the sleeping city and the infinite ocean. The stone is smooth and warm, holding the day's heat like a secret promise. With every step, you feel a faint tingle, a gentle vibration that travels from the earth into your body, aligning your energy with the world around you. The scientists of this lost age understood what we are only beginning to rediscover, that everything in existence is in a state of vibration. The mountains, the trees, the waves, and even our own thoughts. They tuned their city to a specific frequency, a golden resonance that encouraged cellular healing and profound mental clarity. As you stand on this dark plateau, close your eyes and your mind. Listen past the sound of the wind. Listen past the distant crash of the surf. Deep below, within the tectonic plates and the subterranean rivers, there's a low, constant hum. It is a sound so deep that you hear it with your bones rather than your ears. This is the heartbeat of Atlantis. Imagine this frequency as a soft, golden wave of light radiating upward from the center of the earth. It passes through the bedrock, through the layers of sand and water, and finally, it reaches you. As it enters your body, it begins to harmonize any discord within. If your mind has been racing, the frequency slows it down. If your body has been tense, the vibration shakes the tension loose, turning it into a fine mist that simply evaporates into the night air. You are becoming like a finely tuned instrument, vibrating in perfect sympathy with the planet itself. The Atlanteans built their great monuments, their pyramids, and their rings to act as resonators for this energy. They were not just buildings, they were amplifiers of peace. Looking out over the city now, you can see the faint, rhythmic glow of the orichalcum walls, pulsing in time with the Earth's breath. The water in the canals acts as a conductor, carrying the healing vibrations into every home, every garden, and every sleeping soul. The entire empire is a living symphony of rest. The pulse is slow. The pulse is steady. The pulse is inevitable. Think of the ocean that surrounds us. Water is the ultimate keeper of memory and the ultimate conductor of frequency. The deep Atlantic trenches act like the strings of a massive harp, played by the currents and the gravity of the moon. The sound they produce is the sound of the deep blue, a frequency that mirrors the human brain in the deepest stages of sleep. As you imagine the dark, heavy water miles below the surface, feel that same heaviness entering your limbs. Your arms feel heavy and warm. Your legs feel anchored to the earth. You are sinking, not into the water, but into the profound comfort of your own existence. In this moment of total resonance, the boundaries of yourself begin to soften. You are not just a traveler in Atlantis. You are the stone, the water, and the star-filled sky. The wisdom we uncovered in the library and the stars was not meant to be understood with the intellect, but to be felt as a vibration. The knowledge that you are safe. The knowledge that you are part of a vast, orderly universe. The knowledge that everything you need for peace is already vibrating within you. Let this realization settle into your chest like a warm, glowing coal. As the final hours of the Empire's night approach, the harmonics shift into an even deeper register. The hum becomes a whisper. The vibration becomes a stillness so absolute that it feels like a physical presence. The stars above seem to pulse one last time before the dawn, a final salute to the majesty of the night. You feel a sense of completion. The cycle of the day is finished. The cycle of thought is finished. There is only the frequency. There is only the hum. We are standing on the edge of a great transition. The golden age is preparing to surrender to the deep blue of the ocean. But do not be afraid. For in the world of harmonics, nothing is ever lost. It only changes its form, its frequency. As we prepare to witness the great descent, the moment when the water and the land become one, carry this vibration with you. It is your anchor. It is your sanctuary. It is your home. You are drifting now on a sea of sound. The harmonics of the earth are cradling you, rocking you into a state of total surrender. Ring after ring, wave after wave. You are sinking into the deep, quiet resonance of the lost world. Rest now. Vibrate with the peace of the ages. Sleep in the heart of the great harmonic. The great night of Atlantis has reached its final hour. The stars above, which we watched with such reverence from the observatory, are now beginning to fade into a sky of deep, bruised violet. But something is different tonight. The air is no longer thin and cool. It is heavy, moist, and filled with the overwhelming scent of the deep, open sea. Visualize yourself standing once more on the edge of the outer concentric ring. The ocean, which has protected and nurtured this empire for eons, is no longer staying within its boundaries. It is rising, slowly majestically, and with a quiet inevitability that feels more like an embrace than a conquest. Look out toward the horizon. The waves are not crashing. They are swelling, like the chest of a giant in deep sleep. The water is a shade of blue so dark it is almost black, topped with a fine, silver foam that glows under the fading moon. As you watch, the first wave of the tide reaches the base of the white stone walls. It does not strike the stone, it kisses it. The water slides over the marble surfaces like liquid silk, filling the cracks and crevices with a soft, bubbling sound. The rising tide is not bringing chaos. It is bringing an end to the heat, an end to the effort, and the beginning of a long blue silence. Now, imagine the water flowing into the great canals we walked along earlier. The sapphire rings are expanding, growing deeper and wider as the Atlantic pours its soul into the city's veins. The bridges of orichalcum and silver are now only inches above the surface. You can hear the soft swish of the water as it begins to cover the lower steps of the palaces and the outer gardens. The exotic flowers we saw in the crystal gardens are being submerged, their bioluminescent petals glowing even brighter beneath the dark water, like stars falling into an abyss. There is no panic. The people of Atlantis have understood this moment for 1,000 years. They are not fleeing. They're surrendering to the natural rhythm of the earth. As the water rises, feel the temperature of the air dropping. It is a cooling, refreshing chill that settles over your skin, inviting you to pull your covers closer. The vibration we felt earlier, the great harmonic, is now being amplified by the water. The hum is deeper, more resonant. It is the sound of 1,000 cellos playing a single, lone note in perfect unison. The city is becoming an instrument of the ocean. The towers, the temples, and the statues are all beginning to vibrate with the frequency of the deep blue. You are vibrating with it too. Your mind is as fluid as the rising tide, flowing over every obstacle, filling every empty space with peace. The water is now reaching the central island. It flows over the threshold of the great library, washing over the floors of obsidian and marble. The thousands of scrolls we saw are safely sealed in their silver tubes, ready to be preserved in the cold, silent depths for future ages to discover. The water rises higher, covering the lower halls of the Temple of Poseidon. The golden chariot of the god is now half submerged, the silver horses appearing to swim in their new aquatic home. The reflection of the gold on the water's surface creates a shimmering, amber world, a dream within a dream. Everything is being reclaimed. Everything is returning home. Visualize yourself standing on the highest terrace of the city as the water finally covers the last of the land. You are not drowning, you are floating. The water is supporting you, lifting the weight of your body, making you feel as light as a piece of driftwood. The sky above is now a pale gray blue, and the stars have all gone to sleep. The world is becoming one single, infinite ocean. The boundaries of the city are gone. The rings of water and land have merged into a single, circular piece. The silence is no longer something you hear. It is something you inhabit. As the tides continue to rise, the city begins its slow descent toward the bottom of the Atlantic. It is a descent that will take centuries of silence to complete. But for now, the surface of the ocean is becoming calm again. The ripples are fading. The foam is disappearing. Below the waves, the city of Atlantis is glowing with a faint, ghostly light, protected by the heavy pressure of the deep sea. The pressure is like a firm, loving hand pressing you down into your bed, holding you still, keeping you safe from the restless world above. The great empire has finished its work. The wisdom of the stars, the power of the crystals, and the harmony of the earth are all now sealed beneath the waves. And you, too, have finished your work for the day. The tide of sleep is rising within you, just as it rose over Atlantis. It is a cool, dark, and beautiful tide. Let it flow over your thoughts. Let it submerge your worries. Let it carry you down into the deep, blue silence of the great descent. You're drifting through the layers of the ocean now. Past the sunlit surface, into the twilight zone, and toward the eternal dark. The city of Atlantis is waiting for you there in the quiet valleys of the seafloor. It is a kingdom of eternal rest, a kingdom of profound slumber. Go now with the rising tides. Become one with the water. Sleep in the embrace of the deep. The city of Atlantis is now cradled in the arms of the ocean, and as we look toward the west, the final sunset of a 10,000-year empire begins to unfold. The sky is no longer blue. It has transformed into a masterpiece of fire and silk. Deep oranges, burning crimsons, and soft, dusty purples bleed into one another, creating a horizon that feels like the edge of eternity. Visualize the surface of the water as it rises. It is a mirror of liquid gold, reflecting the dying light of the sun and casting a warm, flickering glow onto the last visible spires of the city. This is the moment of the final sunset, a peaceful surrender where the fire of the day meets the cool, deep blue of the world below. As the sun dips lower, its rays pierce through the rising water, creating long, golden shafts of light that reach down into the submerged streets. It looks like a forest of light under the sea. Watch as the light dances across the silver walls of the houses and the golden roofs of the lower temples. The water acts as a prism, breaking the sunlight into 1,000 shimmering fragments. In this amber haze, the city looks more beautiful than it ever did in the full glare of the day. It is a beauty that is quiet, humble, and perfectly at peace with its fate. The warmth of the sun is fading now, replaced by the heavy, comforting cool of the deep Atlantic. Imagine yourself standing on the very last terrace that remains above the waves. The air is incredibly still. Even the seabirds have fallen silent, gliding away toward distant, newer lands on the last thermal currents of the evening. You feel the cooling spray of the ocean on your face, a gentle mist that signals the transition from light to shadow. The great sun, the source of all life in Atlantis, is now half hidden behind the curve of the earth. As it disappears, it sends out one final, brilliant flash of emerald light, the legendary green flash that marks the end of an era. With that flash, the day is officially over. The era of Atlantis is finished. The transition from sunset to twilight is a slow, hypnotic blur. The orange light turns to a pale violet, then to a deep, resonant teal. The water continues to rise, covering the last of the moonstone towers. As the stone is submerged, the sound of the world above is completely snuffed out. There's no more wind. There's no more salt spray. There's only the muffled, heavy silence of the water. The final sunset is still visible through the waves above you, but is now a distant, blurry memory of light. It looks like a glowing ember at the bottom of a dark well, fading, and slowly turning into the blue of the night. Feel the weight of this twilight in your own body. Your energy, like the sun, is beginning to set. The warmth of your day is being replaced by the cool, steady stillness of your rest. As the city sinks deeper into the twilight zone, your mind sinks deeper into the layers of sleep. One by one, the thoughts that were bright and loud during the day are losing their color. They are turning into shadows. They are turning into dreams. The golden heights of the morning are now far, far above you. You are descending into the velvet dark, where the final sunset never truly ends, but remains as a soft, internal glow. Now, the moon begins to rise over the surface of the water, but its light is different now. It is a pale, silver light that must travel through miles of ocean to reach the city below. It creates a ghostly, ethereal atmosphere. The statues of Atlantis, submerged in their final resting places, appear to be waking up in this new, silver world. Their stone eyes are closed, but they look as though they are smiling in their sleep. The seaweed and the corals are the new gardens, waving slowly in the currents like the branches of the silver trees we saw earlier. The transformation is complete. The city of gold has become a city of ghosts and silver light. Take a deep breath of this underwater silence. It is clean, pure, and ancient. The pressure of the ocean is like a heavy, warm quilt being pulled up to your chin. It holds you in place. It tells you that the day is done and that you are safe. The final sunset was the signal for the world to let go, and you are letting go with it. Your heavy limbs are merging with the heavy, dark water. The rhythm of the tides is the only rhythm that matters now. As we prepare to leave the final embers of the sunset and enter the absolute blue silence of the ocean floor, feel the gratitude of the city. Atlantis is grateful for the rest. Is grateful to be hidden away from the noise and the haste of the world above. You, too, can feel this gratitude for the darkness. The night is not an end, it is a sanctuary. The sunset was not a loss, it was a beautiful transition. You are drifting. You are sinking. You are at home in the blue. The descent is complete. The surface of the Atlantic, with its restless waves and shifting winds, is now miles above us, a distant and forgotten memory. We have arrived at the final resting place of Atlantis, a kingdom now cradled in the eternal embrace of the deep ocean floor. Visualize the absolute stillness of this place. The light here is not from the sun or the moon, but a soft, pervasive blue, a hue so deep and so calm that it seems to vibrate with the very essence of rest. This is the blue silence, a sanctuary of shadow and peace where the world above simply ceases to exist. As you look around the submerged streets, notice how the water has transformed everything. The great marble pillars of the palaces no longer stand against the sky. They support the weight of the sea. The gold and silver ornaments that once blazed in the sun now glow with a faint, ghostly luminescence. There is no sound here, at least, no sound that the human ear can recognize. It is a heavy silence, a silence that has a physical presence, wrapping around the city like a protective layer of thick, blue silk. It is a silence that invites you to stop seeking, to stop wondering, and to simply be. The pressure of the deep sea is immense, yet it does not feel crushing. Instead, it feels like a total support system. Every inch of the city is being held by the water. Every stone is being comforted by the deep. Feel that same pressure now on your own body. It is the weight of your blankets, the weight of your relaxation, pressing you gently down into your bed. You are being held by the same forces that hold Atlantis. You are safe. You are anchored. You are drifting in the deep, blue silence where nothing can disturb your peace. Imagine the central island now, where the great temple and the library reside. The water inside the halls is perfectly still, undisturbed by currents or tides. The silver horses of Poseidon's chariot appear to be frozen in a dream of mid-flight, their manes flowing in a perpetual, liquid dance. The great orichalcum walls have taken on a deep, indigo patina, reflecting the blue light of the abyss. The city has not been lost, it has been preserved. It has been hidden away from the ravages of time and the noise of civilization. It is a time capsule of tranquility, and you are the only witness to its eternal slumber. As we float through the silent corridors, you may see a few deep-sea creatures moving in slow motion. Small, bioluminescent jellyfish drift like floating lanterns past the moonstone balconies. Their light is soft, rhythmic, and hypnotic, pulsing blue, then white, then fading back into the indigo void. Watch them with your mind's eye. Their movement is so effortless, so devoid of haste. They are the new inhabitants of Atlantis, the guardians of the blue silence. Their presence reminds you that life continues in the quietest of places, in the deepest of sleeps. The harmonics of the earth that we felt earlier have now merged with the harmonics of the deep sea. The hum is now a low-frequency vibration that you feel in your very soul. It is the sound of the planet's core, the sound of the universe resting. The blue silence is not an empty space. It is a full and vibrant peace. It is the sound of a mind that has finally let go of all its words. The script of the library, the wisdom of the stars, they are all contained in this one single frequency. The frequency of home. Everything in Atlantis is now perfectly balanced. The heat of the sun has been replaced by the cool of the deep. The motion of the day has been replaced by the stillness of the age. You are standing at the center of this balance. Your breathing is slow, matching the rhythmic pulse of the bioluminescent lanterns. Your thoughts are like the water in the canals, clear, dark, and still. There is no past to look back to, and the future is a long, blue distance away. There is only this moment at the bottom of the world, in the heart of the silence. The great descent has led us here to the ultimate sanctuary. As the last of the surface memories fade, feel the gratitude of your spirit. You have reached the deepest level. You have found the source of the rest. The city of Atlantis is no longer a legend. It is your reality. Its stone walls are your protection. Its silent waters are your peace. The blue silence is now within you. As we prepare to enter the final chapter of our journey, where the ruins become a living reef of dreams, take this silence with you. Let it be the foundation of your sleep. Let it be the depth of your rest. You're sinking deeper. You're floating in the blue. You are home in the heart of the abyss. We have arrived at the final sanctuary of our journey. The city of Atlantis is no longer a monument of stone and metal. It has become a part of the living earth, a majestic reef that stretches across the silent valleys of the ocean floor. Visualize the transformation that centuries of silence have created. The great marble pillars we once walked past are now covered in delicate, branching corals. Brain corals, as ancient as the stars, have nestled into the corners of the royal plazas, their intricate patterns mirroring the wisdom of the scrolls we found in the library. The sharp edges of the empire have been softened by the touch of the water, rounded by time, and painted in the colors of a deep-sea dream. As you drift through these gardens of coral, notice the palette of colors around you. They are not the bright, harsh colors of the surface world. Everything here is muted, filtered through miles of heavy blue water. Soft turquoises, dusty pinks, and deep, glowing violets. The sea anemones wave slowly in the gentle currents, their long, flowing tentacles looking like the silver willow trees of the upper city. They move in perfect synchronization with the rhythmic pulse of the ocean, the slow, hypnotic sway that calls to your own body. Left and right, slowly and deeply. There is no resistance here. There is only the fluid grace of the reef. The architecture of the city and the architecture of nature have become one. A school of small, translucent fish swims through the high, arched windows of the Temple of Poseidon. They move like silver sparks of light, unhurried and unafraid. The golden chariot of the god is now a home for rare, glowing creatures that spend their entire lives in the quiet dark. The silver horses are covered in a fine layer of ocean silk, shimmering when the bioluminescent life passes by. In this garden, there is no history to remember and no future to plan. There is only the peaceful coexistence of the past and the present, resting together in the blue silence. Feel the weightless quality of your existence in this underwater garden. Gravity has lost its power over you. Your limbs feel as light as the sea fans that drift in the current. Every muscle in your body has surrendered to the support of the water. Your back, your shoulders, and your neck are all floating in a state of perfect suspension. There is no tension left to hold. The reef is holding everything for you. The city is holding your memories. The ocean is holding your breath. You're free to let go, completely and utterly. Imagine the sound of the reef. It is a sound of absolute tranquility, a low, distant crackle of life that is so subtle it feels like a whisper in the back of your mind. It is the sound of the ocean breathing through the coral branches. It is a comforting sound, a natural white noise that masks any remaining echoes of the world above. The blue silence we encountered earlier has become even deeper here. It is the silence of a sanctuary that has been undisturbed for 10,000 years. Let this silence enter your ears and fill the spaces between your thoughts. The great crystal we saw in the first chapter is still here, buried deep beneath the layers of coral. Its light is now a very faint, deep blue pulse, barely visible through the sediment. But you can still feel its energy. It is a cooling, grounding vibration that keeps the reef in a state of eternal health. As you lie in your own bed, imagine that you are lying on a bed of soft, white sand at the base of this crystal. The sand is cool and fine, molding itself to the shape of your body. You are being cradled by the earth itself, protected by the ruins of the most magnificent empire the world has ever known. The darkness of the abyss is not a cold darkness. It is a warm, velvety embrace. It is the darkness of a deep, dreamless sleep. The final remnants of the sun and the moon are gone, replaced by the steady, internal glow of your own peace. You have traveled far to reach this place. Through the rings of gold, through the halls of wisdom, and through the descending tides. Now, there is nowhere else to go. You have reached the destination. The Garden of Coral is your final home for the night. As the currents of the deep ocean continue their slow, endless dance, let your mind become as fluid as the water. Float through the arches of the fallen towers. Drift over the silent libraries. Become a part of the reef. There is no longer a you in Atlantis. There is only the silence. There is only the blue. There is only the rest. You are sinking now, past the world of form, into the world of pure essence. The ruins are a living reef of dreams. The reef is your sanctuary. Sleep now, among the corals and the stars of the deep. The journey is over. The rest has begun. As we drift further into the heart of the eternal reef, the silence of the deep begins to reveal its true nature. It is not an absence of sound, but a tapestry of echoes, the faint, lingering vibrations of a civilization that once reached for the stars. Visualize the ocean currents as they move through the empty arches of the great library and the silver corridors of the palaces. The water does not just flow, it whispers. It carries the phantom melodies of Atlantis, the songs of the golden age that have been absorbed by the sea and slowed down to the rhythm of the tides. These are the echoes of Atlantis, and they're calling you deeper into the blue. Imagine the sound of a distant harp, played by the movement of the water against the orichalcum pillars. The notes are long, resonant, and incredibly soft. They do not demand your attention. They simply float around you, like light reflecting off the surface of a pearl. The Atlanteans believed that every thought and every word left a trace in the environment, a spiritual resonance that could never be fully erased. In this deep, dark sanctuary, those traces remain. The wisdom of the elders, the laughter of the children in the concentric rings, and the quiet prayers of the priests in the Temple of Poseidon. They have all become part of the great blue frequency. As you listen to these internal echoes, feel the boundary between your own mind and the ocean floor beginning to dissolve. Your memories are like the ruins of a city, softened by the water, peaceful and still. There is no longer a need to hold on to the events of your day. They are becoming echoes, too. The conversations you had, the tasks you completed, the worries that felt so loud just a few hours ago. They are sinking into the abyss, their edges blurring, their voices fading into the rhythmic hum of the deep sea. You are letting go of the world of form and entering the world of resonance. The currents of the deep Atlantic are like slow, gentle hands, rocking you back and forth. They carry the scent of ancient history and the cool, clean energy of the abyss. Every movement of the water is a reminder that everything is in a state of eternal return. The water that once flowed through the city's fountains is the same water that now cradles the fallen statues. There is a profound comfort in this continuity. You are part of a cycle that is much larger than yourself. A cycle of light and shadow, of rise and fall, of waking and sleeping. In this moment, the cycle has brought you to the place of ultimate rest. Now, Visualize the central pillar of the library once more. Though it is buried beneath coral and sand, its vibration is still the anchor of the city. The echoes of wisdom radiate from its core, touching every stone and every creature in the reef. This energy is a silent language, teaching you how to be still. It tells you that you do not need to do anything to be worthy of peace. You are worthy simply because you exist, a spark of life in the infinite dark. Let this knowledge settle into your bones. Let the echoes of Atlantis remind you of your own internal strength and your own capacity for deep, restorative slumber. The darkness around you is thick and heavy, like liquid velvet. It presses against your eyelids, inviting them to stay closed. The blue light of the bioluminescent life is growing dimmer now, as the city prepares for an even deeper stage of the night. The jellyfish have drifted away into the shadows. The corals have pulled in their tentacles. The echoes are becoming quieter, turning into a single, steady pulse. Is the pulse of the great year we heard about in the observatory. One long, slow breath for the entire planet. Synchronize your life with this pulse. In this depth, there is no more color. There is only the gradient of the dark. You are sinking past the ruins, past the memories, into the very bedrock of the world. The echoes are now within you. You are the city. You are the ocean. You are the legend. The stories of Atlantis are now your dreams, and your dreams are the new history of the lost empire. Everything is safe. Everything is exactly as it should be. The echoes are fading into the final silence. The vibration is becoming a part of your heartbeat. The weight of the Atlantic is the weight of your own tranquility. As we prepare for the final chapter of our descent, the moment of a kingdom in slumber, hold on to the peace of the echoes. They are the bridge to your deepest sleep. They are the whispers of the ancients, telling you that it is time to rest. You are drifting. You are sinking. You are at home in the echoes. We have reached the end of our long descent. The journey through the rings of gold, the halls of silver, and the blue silence of the tides has brought us to this final, sacred stillness. The city of Atlantis is no longer a legend to be searched for. It is the ground upon which your dreams now rest. Visualize the empire as it lies today, miles beneath the surface, a kingdom in eternal slumber. The towers and the temples have become one with the mountains of the seafloor, and the history of civilization has become the heartbeat of the deep. There is no more movement. There is no more time. There is only the peace that passeth all understanding. As you lie here, safe in your own sanctuary, feel the total weight of the ocean above you. It is a weight of liquid velvet, a mile-thick blanket of comfort that keeps the restlessness of the world far, far away. The pressures of your day, the noise of the modern era, the endless stream of thoughts, they cannot reach this depth. They have dissolved in the salt water, vanished in the blue silence. You are submerged in a state of pure, untroubled existence. Your breathing is now the breathing of the deep Atlantic, a slow, rhythmic swell that rises and falls with the gravity of the distant moon. Look at the ruins through the eyes of your spirit. The bioluminescent life is now very faint, pulsing like the last embers of a dying fire. The deep violet corals have wrapped themselves around the final pillars of the royal palace, holding them in a permanent embrace. The golden chariot of Poseidon is now a cradle for the silence. Everything is at rest. The kings, the scholars, the navigators, and the stars themselves, they're all sleeping within the dream of the ocean. And you are the keeper of this dream. You are the silent witness to the majesty of the end. The great harmonic we discovered has now become a single, unwavering note. It is the frequency of the abyss, the sound of the earth at its most stable, its most grounded. Let this note vibrate within every cell of your body. Feel it in your heavy hands. Feel in your heavy feet. Feel in the quiet, dark space behind your closed eyes. There's a profound beauty in this surrender. In letting go of the need to know, the need to do, and the need to be anything other than a part of this ancient silence. Atlantis was never truly lost. It simply found a place where it could never be disturbed again. It found the ultimate rest. As you descend into the final stages of your own sleep, know that you are finding that same place within yourself. A kingdom that cannot be shaken by the storms of the surface. A sanctuary that is built on the bedrock of the soul. The light of the crystals has faded into the blue. The echoes of the library have faded into the stillness. The journey is complete. In a few moments, even my voice will fade, leaving you alone with the gentle rhythm of the sea. Do not be afraid of the dark. In Atlantis, the dark is where the wisdom lives. It is a fertile, healing darkness where the mind recovers and the spirit renews itself. Accept this gift of the abyss. Hold the silence around you like a cloak of moonstone. Sink into the white sand of the ocean floor. Let the water carry away the last traces of your waking self. You are a part of the legend now. You are a ripple in the eternal tide. The city is sleeping. The reef is sleeping. The world is sleeping. And you, too, are finally perfectly at rest. Thank you for traveling with us through the golden heights and the blue silence. The story of Atlantis will continue in your dreams. The memory of the empire will be held in your heart. Drift now. Sing now. Be now. The kingdom in slumber is waiting for you. The depth is your home. The silence is your song. Good night from Sleepy Theory. Sleep well in the arms of the deep. Sleep. Sleep. Sleep.